Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'd just like to inform the room, and in particular the committee, that Chairperson Lee has informed us and informed the Bureau this morning that unfortunately he will not be able to chair the session today. And in accordance with Rule 4.2 of the Rules of Procedure, he has asked vice chairs to chair, and in particular has asked Turkey to chair in the morning and Colombia to chair in the afternoon session. May I ask the chair from Turkey to come to the podium? Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start our business today, if you take your seats. Dear committee members, I think you will all agree that we have advanced well yesterday, which allowed us to complete the examination of nominations to the representative list. Despite this hard-working day, we have yet to finalize the examination of the 12-11 series. The Bureau met this morning for the fourth time and discussed the revised timetable, which is as follows. This morning, we will start with item 11C, removal of an element from the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding, and its transfer to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Then move on to 11D, examination of requests for international assistance. Followed by 11E, examination of proposals to the Register of Good Safeguarding Practices. And hopefully, we will conclude the morning session with the adoption of the draft decision 12-11 on the report of the evaluation body on its work in 2017. If everything goes as planned, the afternoon session will continue with the items 13, report of the informal ad hoc working group, 12, procedures to facilitate dialogue between the evaluation body and the submitting states, and 14, reflection on the removal of an element from a list and the transfer of an element from one list to the other. Before we start our work of the day, I would like to take the opportunity to express our appreciation to the Fund of the Project of Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz for its support of Arabic interpretation for the committee. Distinguished delegates, I will ask you to continue our good practice of dialogue and cooperation of yesterday. Let us immediately start with item 11C on transfer. Now that we have completed our examination of nominations to the urgent safeguarding list and the representative list, let us proceed to the examination of item 11C, removal of an element from the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding and its transfer to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This is the first time that a case of transfer of an element from one list to another is brought to the attention of the committee. This item was included on our agenda following Decision 10-19 in 2015. At the 10th session, the committee decided, on an exceptional basis, and pending the adoption of relevant procedures by the General Assembly, to examine the request submitted by Vietnam for the transfer of one element from the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The element concerned Han Singing of Phu Tho Province, Vietnam, and I'm sorry for my pronunciation, was inscribed on the urgent safeguarding list in 2011. Allow me to remind you that under this item, we will only examine the request submitted by Vietnam. Later in our agenda, we will have the opportunity under item 14, reflection on the removal of an element from a list and the transfer of an element from one list to the other, to discuss the removal and transfer mechanisms in broader terms. Dear colleagues, we have dealt until now with over 14 nominations to the urgent safeguarding and the representative list. I believe that the criteria for both of those lists are therefore clear in our mind, so I will not describe them this time. However, as this is the first time that the committee will examine a transfer request, I think that it is important to recall the orientations given by the operational directives concerning the removal of an element from a list and the transfer of one element from one list to another. Can we see the relevant paragraphs of the operational directives on the screen, please? So the relevant paragraph which is on the screen is from Chapter 111, transfer of an element from one list to the other, or removal of an element from a list, paragraph 38, which reads as follows. An element may not simultaneously be inscribed on the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding and the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. A state party may request that an element be transferred from one list to the other. Such a request must demonstrate that the element satisfies all the criteria for the list to which transfer is requested and shall be submitted according to the established procedures and deadlines for nominations. Paragraph 39. An element shall be removed from the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding by the committee when it determines, after assessment of the implementation of the safeguarding plan, that the element no longer satisfies one or more criteria for inscription on that list. At this stage, let us also remind ourselves that the committee decided in 2015 that the possible examination of the nomination of the element to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity in the 2017 cycle will only take place should we first decide on the removal of the element from the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. As this is the first time that the evaluation body has been asked to evaluate a request for transfer, I would like to first ask the chairperson of the evaluation body about the working methods of the body concerning this particular request. Mr. Sconti, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Xoan Singing of Phu Tho Province in Vietnam is a performing art which includes singing, dancing, drumming, and clapper beating, and is closely linked to the worship of the Hong Kings. Bearers and practitioners form 4 guilds, and the element fosters cultural understanding and community cohesion. The practice is safeguarded through seminars, the collection of Xoan songs, and thanks to the efforts of the guilds, national institutes, and 33 dedicated clubs. Xoan singing is mainly transmitted orally, and experienced artists also teach this art to members of clubs and music teachers. As this is the first time that the transfer of an element from one list to the other is examined, the committee may recall that it decided in decision 10-19 on an exceptional basis and pending to adoption of relevant procedures by the General Assembly to concurrently examine the report on the status of the element Xoan singing of Phu Tho Province, Vietnam, inscribed on the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding, and the new nomination of the same element to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity in order to make a decision on the requested transfer. The committee may further recall that it had decided in decision 10-19, provided that voluntary supplementary contributions to the Intangible Cultural Heritage Fund are received in due course, to convene an open-ended intergovernmental working group to discuss draft operational directives on the procedure for the removal of an element from a list and the transfer of an element from one list to the other. The committee may take note that the operational directives still need to be revised in order to establish clear procedures for the removal of an element from a list and the transfer of an element from one list to the other, based on the experience acquired during the committee's examining of the present request submitted by Vietnam. The committee may also recall that the nomination of the element to the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity in the 2017 cycle will only be examined if, after examining the report, the committee first decides to remove the element from the list of the intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. Now, from the information included in the report on the status of the inscribed element Xoan singing of Phu Tho Province, Vietnam, which was submitted by the state party in 2016, and after assessing the implementation of the safeguarding plan, the nomination doesn't satisfy one or more criteria in the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding list. The report on the status of the element demonstrates that Xoan singing is no longer in need of urgent safeguarding, since recent efforts by the local communities and the government have considerably restored its viability since its inscription on the urgent safeguarding list in 2011. The project for the safeguarding and promotion of Xoan singing, implemented since 2013 and to be continued until 2020, has played an essential role in safeguarding and reviving the element with the full support of the community. The Xoan guilds and the communities, practitioners, and institutions concerned have actively participated in the preparation of the report and approved it enthusiastically, taking part in interviews, discussions, and seminars. Furthermore, the element was extensively inventoried with the participation of the communities from 2012 to 2015, with the information being updated every year. Xoan singing is included in various inventories, such as the one at the Vietnamese Institute for Musicology within the Vietnam National Academy of Music. Therefore, the evaluation body recommends that the committee remove Xoan singing of Phu Tho Province, Vietnam, from the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. From the information included in the file Xoan singing of Phu Tho Province, Vietnam, the nomination satisfies the following criteria for inscription on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. R1, Xoan performances involve music and singing as a way of worshiping and expressing gratitude to the Hong Kings. The performances invoke good health and fortune and include songs of courtship. The tradition also reflects the central message behind a common Vietnamese proverb, when drinking water, remember the source, which it seeks to transmit essentially to young practitioners. R2, given that the element experienced a critical decline during the 20th century and has been successfully revitalized thanks to the considerable efforts of the local communities and other stakeholders, its inclusion on the representative list could serve as an example of a good practice and inspire dialogue with communities worldwide on the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage. R3, the efforts described should be considered within the context of the long-term project for the safeguarding and promotion of Xoan singing, 2013 to 2020. The viability of the element is being ensured by the communities, groups, and individuals concerned. The measures proposed include establishing a safeguarding fund for Xoan singing, providing support for each Xoan guild, restoring Xoan singing spaces, organizing regular festivals, publishing books, producing documentaries on Xoan singing, and carrying out research, regular media programs, and training sessions. R4, the process of developing a nomination file to inscribe the element on the representative list was carried out with the active participation of the communities of the 4 Xoan guilds. An ongoing consultation process was pursued between the practitioners and the public institutions concerned. Written letters of free, prior, and informed consent from community members and local officials are provided. R5, the element was included in the national list of Vietnam Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2012. Together with the communities concerned, the Phu Tho Department of Culture, Sports, and Tourism updated the inventory entry of Xoan singing from 2012 to 2015. Therefore, the evaluation body recommends that the committee inscribe Xoan singing of Phu Tho Province, Vietnam, on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The committee may invite the state party to ensure the community consents to the removal of the element from the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding and to its transfer to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity, and that the community consenting to the removal and transfer includes at least the same community members that consented to the inscription on the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. The committee may encourage the state party to complete the implementation of the safeguarding plan as foreseen in the report of the state on the status of the element. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Skunti, for the explanations on the different issues of the file. Now I look at the committee members. Are there any comments or questions regarding the examination of this file? I see none. May I therefore ask the committee to adopt draft decision on this file as shown on the screens as a whole? St. Lucia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, just a concern about number 11. Shouldn't that have been done already? And isn't this superfluous? I mean, that should have been done before, and it's already happening. So why do we have to put again that go and ensure that they agree? They should have agreed already. I don't know.
Thank you, St. Lucia. Cuba, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente, et félicitations pour votre travail. Nous sommes tout à fait d'accord avec la remarque qui vient de faire le Santa Lucie, parce que je pense que dans ces moments de la décision, on doit éviter de faire ces remarques, parce que c'est justement le paragraphe qui vient suivre le paragraphe de l'inscription. Pour nous, ce paragraphe 11 n'apporte rien dans ces points du projet de décision. Nous voudrons aussi féliciter le gouvernement de Vietnam et la communauté portateur pour l'évolution dans ces manifestations. Merci.
Côte d'Ivoire, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente, et félicitations pour votre présidence ce matin. La Côte d'Ivoire a le même souci que Sainte-Lucie et Cuba. Effectivement, si les communautés n'ont pas été consultées, sur quelle base l'organe d'évaluation a fondé son examen? Et comme vous l'avez dit tout à l'heure, peut-être nous allons revenir un peu sur cette question des retraits et des transferts lors de notre discussion dans le prochain point, dans le prochain consacré à ce sujet. Mais nous pensons qu'il y a un vide juridique, peut-être qu'il faut vraiment y réfléchir, parce que nous ne savons pas sur quoi l'organe d'évaluation a fondé son argumentation, puisqu'il y a un vide juridique en ce sens. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much, Côte d'Ivoire. Do you want the legal advisor to answer your question now or when we come to the consideration of the agenda item 14?
Peut-être une bonne solution, à moins que nous voulions vraiment aborder les questions au niveau du point 14 dans la globalité. Mais déjà, il faudrait que nous sachions qu'il y a un vide juridique en la matière et qu'il faudrait y réfléchir.
Okay, so we'll ask the legal advisor to provide you clarifications when we come to the agenda item 14 after proceeding with the adoption of this decision. Okay?
D'accord, ok. Merci, Madame la
Thank you.
Présidente.
Thank you. Any other comments? Cuba, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je demande au secrétariat qui mette sur le tableau la proposition qu'il vient de faire. Santa Lucie, soutenue pour Cuba.
Thank you, Cuba. Palestine, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations for you. Actually, with the same logic of my colleagues, I support the deletion of this paragraph. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Algeria, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous vous félicitons aussi. Nous nous félicitons de vous voir sur le podium ce matin. Et comme mes collègues, je m'interroge sur le fait d'informer, de demander l'autorisation des communautés concernées a posteriori. Peut-être au lieu d'enlever tout le paragraphe, nous pourrions peut-être regarder le début du paragraphe qui dit que invite l'État partie à informer la communauté concernée du retrait de l'élément de la liste du patrimoine culturel immatériel. On n'en est plus à demander le consentement vu qu'on a pris la décision de leur changer, de les intégrer à une autre liste, mais je pense qu'informer la communauté serait peut-être nécessaire. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Algeria. Turkey, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have the same understanding with St. Lucia, Cuba, and Palestine because we thought that this has already been addressed, so now we are inscribing the file. But if evaluation body could explain why they wanted to put this para after the inscription in particular, and in particular for a decision for inscription. Thank you.
Okay, first Zambia and Senegal, and then I'll give the floor to the evaluation body to explain the reasoning behind it. Zambia, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady. We also would like to make the same observation that the sentencing is misplaced. And in this regard, we would want to go for two options. Either we support what Palestine said, that we replace consent to information, that the community should be informed. Alternatively, they say silence is golden. We could just delete the whole para and just leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Zambia. Senegal, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. C'est vrai que c'est la première fois qu'un pareil cas se présente. L'organe a fondé son examen sur les deux paragraphes que nous avons vus au début, 38 et 39. D'abord, examiner le retrait, si les conditions l'acceptent, et ensuite proposer à l'inscription. Je pense que, au regard du rapport qui a été fait sur ces deux aspects, qui motive d'abord le retrait et ensuite qui motive la demande d'inscription, l'organe peut-être a fait son travail en rapport avec, en bonne conscience, ces deux paragraphes-là. De ce point de vue, on n'a pas de problème. Mais cette phrase pose effectivement, ce paragraphe pose problème, comme l'a évoqué Sainte-Lucie, et je pense qu'il faut aller dans le sens proposé peut-être par l'Algérie et informe. Est-ce que maintenant c'est un préalable de demander l'accord, dans lequel cas informe ne pose problème. Et sinon, on oublie complètement ce paragraphe. Mais, pour ne pas avoir de précédent, attendons quand même le point 14 pour encadrer ce fait-là, c'est-à-dire retrait, transfert, et avoir des procédures claires dans les directives opérationnelles pour les prochaines propositions. Sinon, tous les éléments qui sont sur la liste du patrimoine qui demandent en urgence risquent de frapper à la porte dans les prochaines sessions. Il nous faut nous entourer de toutes les garanties à partir du point 14 pour avoir des procédures claires, spécifiques. Mais pour le moment, nous acceptons cette proposition telle que l'organe l'a examinée et on enlève le paragraphe 11. Je vais donc avec Sainte-Lucie et les autres. Merci.
Thank you very much, Senegal. Before giving the floor to St. Lucia, Turkey, and Cuba, let me first give the floor to evaluation body to explain, and then we'll proceed with you. Thank you. Evaluation body, Mrs. Kunti, please.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Je voudrais remercier les honorables délégués qui ont soulevé la question de la raison qui se trouve derrière ce paragraphe. Vous comprendrez bien que nous en avons discuté au sein de l'organe d'évaluation. Nous en avons longuement discuté. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle nous avons à dessein utilisé le verbe « s'assurer ». Car comme l'honorable délégué de la Côte d'Ivoire l'a bien dit, il y a là un vide et le comité lui-même l'a reconnu dans sa décision 10-19. C'est pour cela qu'il a souhaité avoir des procédures claires à ce sujet. Et donc, l'utilisation de ce verbe « s'assurer », nous pensions que cela vous permettait d'adresser un message à l'État partie pour l'inviter à s'assurer que cela a été fait. Mais nous n'avons pas il n'y a pas de procédure pour cela, pour le consentement des communautés sur le retrait et sur le transfert. Pas encore de procédure. Donc, s'assurer nous a semblé le verbe qui y était le plus approprié. Maintenant, c'est à vous de décider si vous voulez adopter une nouvelle formulation, en tout cas une formulation qui vous semble meilleure. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Mr. Kunti. Now I'll give the floor to St. Lucia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I just want you to accept my apologies for a serious omission on my part. I did mean to congratulate you on your stewardship and to wish you the best. I would also like to say I would support the use of the word inform. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, St. Lucia. Now I give the floor to Turkey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also forgot to congratulate you for your chairmanship. Actually, we're supporting the St. Lucia, Cuba, and Palestine and Senegal. In that sense, we want to put our name on that part. Thank you.
Thank you, Turkey. I'll give the floor to Cuba, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. C'est vrai que nous devons avoir une procédure claire et nous devons parler dans l'autre point sur ces questions, mais je pense que nous venons de vivre un moment de bonheur et de félicitations. Et je pense que c'est un bon exemple, une bonne pratique à suivre, comment un patrimoine qui est dans un état déterminé et qui demande une sauvegarde, il a évolutionné, il vient de passer à la liste représentative. Pour ça, je pense que c'est une raison de bonheur et de félicitations. Mais nous devons parler après sur une procédure claire et tout comme ça, mais je pense que pour le moment, nous devons passer à adopter ces décisions. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Cuba. Zambia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Following the explanation by the chairman of the evaluation body, I thought maybe we could do, instead of saying ensure, we could use the term document, because from his explanation, there's some evidence that the community consented to this, but there's no documentation to that effect. So you could say the state party to document community consent to the removal. I think that will be safer. We are assured, we are told by the evaluation body that in the statements that have been presented before this, that there was evidence of consent. So documentation is what we need at this stage. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Before proceeding with the next speaker, which is Hungary, let me first give the Secretariat to give us a brief explanation on this. Thank you. Mr. Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. And if you'll allow me, I'd like to just also, and I'd like to thank the Chairperson of the evaluation body for his explanation of the processes. But there was one point that was discussed, perhaps if I may allow myself, during the evaluation body was the issue of the community consent was not asked for to the submitting state. The evaluation body debated extensively on whether this should be an important measure, but in this case, this information had not actually been requested in the procedure as it exists now. So the evaluation body was in a position to have to decide on something which perhaps should be done, but which the submitting state had not been asked to give an answer on. Thank you.
Thank you for the explanation, Mr. Curtis. Now I give the floor to Hungary, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and let me also join others in congratulating you on assuming your duties as chair of our meeting today. Well, Madam Chair, we are faced with a very important issue, I believe, and I find it somewhat problematic for our delegation that this be judged on such an exceptional and kind of how to say this, on an exceptionary basis, that we still really don't have established procedures for the transfer of an element from one list to the other. And in particular, in such a situation, when it touches upon one of the fundamental principles of the Convention, which is in Article 15, about participation of communities, groups, and individuals. It says, within the framework of its safeguarding activities of the intangible cultural heritage, each state party shall endeavor to ensure the widest possible participation of communities, groups, and, where appropriate, individuals that create, maintain, and transmit such heritage, and to involve them actively in its management. End of quote. Now, clearly, transferring an element from one list to another is part of its management, and the community should certainly be taking an active part in this. I don't think it's appropriate for our procedures that the committee be informed only after the transfer of the element from one list to the other. I understand that such an issue comes to the committee for the first time, and that the committee would like to act upon as fast as possible. But this is indeed a very important issue. We should not do something in this convention, something that affects an item on the list, without the involvement of the community. This is what the convention tells to us, Article 15. So my delegation doesn't feel comfortable with this situation. We understand that the procedure has not been established for this, and that the state party was not required to demonstrate the participation of communities and their consent. We see really indeed there a lack of established procedure. But we don't think that the lack of established procedure should lead us to violate one of the fundamental principles of this convention. Sorry to raise this point so sharply, but we really believe that we touch upon one of the core issues of this convention. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Hungary. Before we proceed with the next speaker, let me first give to the Secretariat for a brief explanation on this, and then we'll proceed with Cyprus. Thank you. Mr. Curtis.
I just wish to clarify in relation to one point that was just said. It was said that a procedure has not been established. That's not quite correct. Decision 10, Com 10, established a procedure on an experimental basis, which was applied. The question may then be, is that procedure the good one, the appropriate one, the one to go forward? But we were acting under a procedure that was established according to Decision 10, Com 10. Thank you.
Thank you for the explanation, Mr. Curtis. And now, Cyprus, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Après les explications de l'organe d'évaluation et aussi les explications du secrétariat, et aussi ce qui nous a dit notre collègue de Hongrie, en effet, il n'a pas encore une procédure pour le retrait d'un élément. Dans ce cas-là, soit Hongrie, je ne sais pas s'il est d'accord pour l'inscription de cet élément, dans ce cas-là, pour le retrait de cet élément, mais je suis d'accord que, puisque c'est déjà passé, de laisser la phrase qu'il a ajoutée notre collègue d'Algérie. Et après, il faut qu'on trouve des procédures pour le retrait d'un élément. Merci.
Thank you, Cyprus. Cuba, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. C'est bien difficile de suivre qu'est-ce qui a passé sur l'écran, parce que c'est bien que le collègue de la Zambie il a proposé quelque chose, mais je ne suis pas d'accord. Et il y a beaucoup de États membres qui ont dit d'élever ces paragraphes. Je ne sais pas qui a passé sur l'écran, mais je pense que nous devons rester comme nous avons accordé, supprimer ces paragraphes, et je suis tout à fait d'accord que l'État membre informe à la communauté, mais dire qu'on doit documenter, mais pour moi ce n'est pas clair qu'est-ce que ça veut dire documenter. Et ça. Mais je pense que la meilleure proposition sera, comme nous avons accordé, je pense qu'il y a un consensus dans la salle, mais l'écran ne reflète pas qu'est-ce qui a passé, élever ces paragraphes et, comme l'a proposé l'Algérie, que l'État parti informe à la communauté. Mais la documentaire, c'est un peu, pour moi, ce n'est pas clair. Merci.
Okay.
We have a whole new list of speakers.
Thank you, Cuba. We take note of your comments and we're going to reflect it on the decision. But in the meantime, there's a growing list of committee members asking for the floor. They're going to reflect it. Secretariat is working on that. So let me give the floor to Afghanistan, followed by Palestine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted just to share 2 points. I agree with my distinguished colleague from Hungary that Article 15, which mentions participation of groups, is a fundamental element. But I would also like to remind the purpose of the 2 lists. The first list has as its purpose to keep an element alive. To keep an element alive. In the second one, of course, for the purpose of the first list, the participation of communities is a condition sine qua non. And the purpose of the second list is to demonstrate diversity of a heritage and to raise awareness about its importance. Donc, so I would think that for the second list, the consent and the participation of communities is somehow presumed. So they cannot, so as far as the survival of an element is not at stake, and it can demonstrate diversity of heritage and raise awareness about its importance. So for me, the participation of communities at this stage is not a condition sine qua non, which could hinder a transfer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Afghanistan. Now we'll proceed with the next speaker in this order: Palestine, Philippines, Algeria, Austria, and St. Lucia.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Mais en réalité, si on regarde bien le DR qui est devant nous, si on garde ce paragraphe, c'est contradictoire. If you look on R4, following what is said by the evaluation body on R4, you see that it is written, the process of developing a nomination file to inscribe the element on the representative list was carried out with the active participation of the communities. This means that the communities concerned were involved actively and informed also. And at the end of this paragraph, we see that this was demonstrated through the provision of written letters of free, prior, and informed consent from community members and local officials. So, in that case, if communities gave their consent for the inscription on the representative list, this means that they gave also their consent to remove it from the list in need of urgent safeguarding. So I think the discussion should stop here and deleting everything in paragraph 11. Paragraph 4 is satisfying, and this gives us the proof that communities are involved and informed. Thank you.
No. Thank you, Palestine. Philippines, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. And similar to the previous speakers, we just note the importance of this item. We congratulate the efforts undertaken by the State Party, Vietnam. We think this item points to the need to address questions unforeseen by the framers of the convention, and that the system is consistently evolving. We think that this item is also a reflection of a success story of the State Party. And we note, like others, that this is an exceptional case which needs further reflection as to future procedures if other future cases are brought to the committee. We'd like to align with what was said, especially by Hungary, that participation of communities is fundamental for the representative list. And however, also like the previous speaker, that we note that there has been efforts to inform communities, and I know we're talking about the DR now, but is there a possibility perhaps for us to hear directly from the State Party about this issue? We'd like to seek the State Party's information on how they have reached out to the communities concerned regarding the removal and transfer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philippines. It would be good to hear from the State Party. Would you please specifically address the question? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Yes, we'd like to ask if the consent of the communities has been secured regarding the transfer and the removal. Thank you.
Okay, with the indulgence of the committee members, now I'd like to give the floor to Vietnam, the concerned State Party, in order to give an explanation on the question just raised by the Philippines. Vietnam, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And first of all, I wish to thank you for the evaluation body for the careful examination of the file and for the recommendation to remove an element from the list of urgent safeguarding and to transfer it to the representative list of ICS for humanity. Concerning the question, I wish to provide some information for clarification. First of all, we already have consent. We already inform on communities in the province, Phu Tho, and we have consent from all the 4 guilds, and it's clearly seen in the file attached to our dossier in 2017, and which already considered by the evaluation body and is all qualified to the own criteria, including criteria concerning the consent of the communities. And once again, I want to reaffirm that the communities are the same communities which in the file of 2011 and then the communities in the file of 2017. And we are ready to provide the committee any further record of the interviews done with the concerned community if needed. And we are ready to provide any clarification if further required. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Vietnam, for the explanation. Let me now turn to Algeria. You have the floor, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous remercions également nos collègues du Vietnam pour les réponses qu'ils viennent de nous avoir données. Cela nous aide beaucoup dans nos débats. Je voudrais d'abord dire que c'est normal que nous prenions un peu de temps sur cette décision parce que nous sommes en train de mettre en place une réflexion qui continuera à l'avenir et cela influencera aussi nos débats sur la manière de gérer de tels cas quand ils se présenteront. Deuxièmement, je souhaiterais aussi qu'on porte à l'écran la fin de la phrase invite l'État partie à informer la communauté concernée du retrait de l'élément de la liste du patrimoine culturel immatériel et son transfert, parce que son transfert sur la liste représentative, il faut l'informer de la totalité de la procédure de ce qui s'est passé. Donc, non seulement le retrait, mais le transfert. Ensuite, nous entendons le concern qui a été développé par la Hongrie, également la Zambie et même certains membres de l'organe d'évaluation concernant le consentement. Mais nous venons d'entendre que le Vietnam a fait les choses comme il se doit, qu'ils ont déjà préparé des consentements, donc ils auront déjà recueilli les consentements des communautés. Toutefois, et comme ils viennent de le dire également, qu'ils sont prêts à présenter cela au comité. Donc nous pouvons refléter ça aussi dans le texte en disant et invite également l'État membre. Donc là, je suis en train d'amender encore le texte qui vient de là, invite encore l'État membre. L'État soumissionnaire à présenter au comité lors de sa prochaine session je suis en train de réfléchir en même temps, toute réponse ou manifestation de la part, et là je demande l'indulgence de la salle et peut-être que mes collègues pourront m'aider, mais toute réponse ou manifestation de la part des communautés concernées. Voilà. Et comme ça, je pense qu'on est couvert. Si l'État soumissionnaire estime, a reçu, après avoir informé les communautés, a reçu une réponse ou une quelconque réclamation, qu'il la porte à la connaissance du comité à sa prochaine session. Et comme ça, nous sommes couverts des deux côtés. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Algeria. Let me give the floor to Austria, please.
Thank you. When we took the floor, it was to support the importance of community consent and community participation as raised by Hungary and Philippines. Meanwhile, and we were also going to ask if it is still possible, knowing that we are already in a decision-making process, to ask the state party, but that has been done already and we are happy for it. So we have heard now that the communities have been involved in the whole process, so maybe we could add our standard paragraph that we thank the state party for providing this information, and then we have also a documentation on the involvement of the communities so that we know that. Thank you.
Thank you, Austria. St. Lucia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me also thank Hungary for emphasizing the importance of consent and popular involvement. It is at the heart of all the processes of ICH. I took it as fundamental, and I took it, when I raised this point, I took it that this had happened in its fullness already. And I move now to really support Palestine's intervention. That I don't see what we are really achieving with this, and I would prefer just take it out, because this is something that we would hope would happen with every file that we have consented to inscribe. I mean that they inform and that they monitor that has happened. So except if we are moving to do this every time we inscribe to the thing. I don't see what we're achieving with this. I presume that the consent was achieved, that there was popular participation and everything, and then we are again going and say, inform the community that I don't see the necessity of this, so I want to support Palestine's suggestion that we just take this out. I don't see what we are achieving. Thank you.
Thank you, St. Lucia. India, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would just like to say that the procedure as it is present now for transfer, whatever it is as it exists in its raw form, has already been followed. And we are trying to assess the state party on information that the Secretariat has already clarified was not demanded as per the current procedure. And we've already, the state parties already provided the information, and as per the information they had provided us yesterday, the consent letters of the communities involved have been attached to both nomination files, the one presented in 2011 and 2017. So we would just like to state that we should consider this nomination in its exceptional circumstances, and that we would like the committee to reflect on this further and clarify the procedures, but I don't believe that the amount of time that this session has left, we can reach a conclusion on all the procedures that would be required. So I think we should separate the two and consider them in isolation. I mean, the nomination as a separate portion and how we should do it in the future as a separate part. Thank you.
Thank you, India. Very relevant remarks indeed, because we need to separate them both. So now we proceed to Hungary, please, followed by Cuba.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you for giving me the floor for a second time. I thank very much the delegations who have pointed out as well the importance of the participation of communities. I think there is a wide agreement in this room that indeed this is an important point. I would like to say that my delegation is very much reassured by the intervention of the state party, Vietnam, concerning the participation of communities in the renomination process. I think they have fully abided by the procedure, and I would like to thank them for them and to disambiguate this situation here. We believe indeed that the procedure has been followed, that consent of communities thus have been achieved to the inscription of the representative list. And we believe that is right, and so then we can proceed with the decision. We would, however, like to flag this issue for our agenda item 14, when we will come to this, that there needs to be some more clarification as to what we are asking for consent, what the state party should ask for consent in the case of a transfer of an element from one list to the other. Maybe I'll give my arguments in more detail there, but I think there's a different, the community involved should understand the impact of that decision. That being on the different lists means different things, means different objectives, as also Afghanistan has pointed out. We believe that it has implications for the management of the given element. So in that sense, we would join delegations in going along with this paragraph. We see a lot of merit in the original proposal of the evaluation body. I think they have reflected on that very deeply. But we also understand the concern of many states parties that want to use a different language. We don't have our minds set on this yet, but we would just like to indicate that we would be ready to join consensus on this, but on the condition that under agenda item 14, we should come back to issue and give to it more attention. And thank all delegations, and I think everyone in committee to paying attention to the involvement of communities in this convention. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cuba, please.
Merci Madame la Présidente. J'ai l'impression que nous sommes en train de créer les procédures à partir de ces nominations. Parce que je suis désolée, mais je ne suis pas tout à fait d'accord avec la proposition de l'Algérie, parce que c'est un mécanisme de suivre que nous sommes en train de créer. Je pense que je ne suis pas sûre que nous sommes dans le moment indiqué pour créer un mécanisme de suivi qui demande à l'État membre de présenter pour la prochaine réunion des informations. je suis un peu préoccupée dans ces questions. Je pense qu'on doit réfléchir, c'est très important de créer un mécanisme clair, mais je ne suis pas sûre que ça, c'est le moment de le faire. Et surtout, à partir de la décision qui concerne à ces manifestations. Pour ça, ma proposition, c'est supprimer la partie qui invite également à l'État soumissionné à présenter au comité lors de sa prochaine session toute réponse de la part des communautés concernées. Parce que nous sommes en train de créer un mécanisme de suivre. Et c'est ça dangereux. Merci. Et s'il vous plaît, Madame la Présidente, pour suivre mieux les décisions, supprimer comme tu l'as vu, on avait travaillé le projet de décision dans sa négociation multilatérale. Merci.
Thank you, Cuba. Okay, let me give the Secretary for explanation. Thank you. Mr. Curtis.
Je vous remercie. Et je voulais juste qu'on mette en valeur qu'on a mis le mot supprimer parce qu'on n'était pas sûr aussi de la modification de la Zambie qui est compliquée. C'est-à-dire, on est prêt à biffer tout le paragraphe, mais ça veut dire que la demande de la Zambie de remplacer la documentation sera aussi supprimée. Si la Zambie le permet, on le fait. Mais je crois que, voilà, donc on le point of order.
Cuba.
Excusez-moi, monsieur le secrétaire. Dans une négociation multilatérale, quand un État membre il fait une demande, il supprime l'antérieur. Et après, si l'autre État membre il veut le maintenir, il doit le dire. Ça détruit la vie. Merci.
Je voulais juste, again, I'll speak English. We do have the word suppress or delete, which is to be there. I'll tell them now to delete, and I'm sure Zambia will agree. Delete. But the word delete was highlighted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we all agree that we have two different opinions, but we... Which one?
Are you making a point of order?
Sorry, sorry, Madam Chair.
They have to be clear. Is it a point of order?
Hungary, is this a point of order?
Sorry, well, I don't know how to express this, but I see Hungary as co-sponsor of the deletion. In my intervention, I said we have not yet made up our mind, but we will...
Okay, we will delete Hungary from the list of co-sponsors. Okay. So we understand that there are two different perspectives now. Let us leave the philosophical debate of how we're going to establish this mechanism on agenda item 14. And if we can all agree to delete 11 after the explanation given by the state party, I think we will be able to reach a solution here. Algeria, would you be agreeable to delete para 11?
Thank you, Mrs. Chair. No. The part of informing the community for us should remain. We can live with the deletion of the second part of inviting, invites the submitting state, etc. We can live with this, but this part of informing the state should remain for us. Et je pense qu'il y a consensus sur cela. Personne ne s'oppose à ce que l'État partie informe la communauté concernée. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
OK. Côte d'Ivoire.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je voulais demander à mon collègue d'Algérie, au regard des informations fournies par l'État partie, et au regard aussi des informations contenues dans le dossier, comme l'a relevé si bien le collègue de la Palestine, nous pensions que la communauté a été informée et a été impliquée. Et nous pensons qu'il faut vraiment supprimer cette partie et peut-être accepter l'ajout de l'Autriche pour que nous puissions aller de l'avant. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Philippines, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Very briefly, and to move our work forward, I think we listened to the response of the state party. We welcome what they brought to the floor, and similar to what Côte d'Ivoire, Cuba, Palestine, and Austria have said, I think we can just, and yourself, you proposed to delete paragraph 11. I think we've heard from Vietnam that the consent of the communities has been secured for the removal and transfer, so we can just move to the proposal of Austria to thank the delegation of Vietnam, and we can leave it very simple and get into the procedure on item 14. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippines. I understand that everyone in the room agrees with the deletion of para 11. The only concern comes from Algeria. If we can have Algeria on board, I think we will reach a consensus in this paragraph. We can delete and then proceed with Austrian.
Je ne suis pas le seul. Chypre aussi a exprimé un avis. Je vois Chypre aussi de l'autre côté faire signe. Nous ne demandons pas beaucoup, Madame la Présidente, nous demandons juste que les collègues soient un peu flexibles. Nous demandons que juste les comités soient informés de ce que nous sommes en train de faire. Le consentement tel qu'on a, que l'État soumissionnaire, et on remercie le Vietnam, et nous souhaitons nous joindre aussi au paragraphe qui a été présenté par l'Autriche, qui serait un 11 bis, remercier la délégation du Vietnam pour les éclaircissements, ça tombe sous le sens. Mais informer les communautés de ce que nous sommes en train de faire est un minimum. Juste leur dire que l'élément est passé d'une liste à une autre, et un surplus d'informations ne peut pas faire de mal, à notre sens. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Okay, can we hear from Cyprus, please? Cyprus, you have the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. J'ai bien demandé la parole bien avant Philippines et Algérie, et j'étais pour effacer tous les paragraphes 11, même la proposition d'Algérie, parce qu'après les clarifications que nous a donné Vietnam pour la participation des communautés, je pense qu'il ne faut pas ajouter ce qu'il a écrit l'Algérie, et je suis d'accord avec Autriche qu'il faut remercier l'État de Vietnam pour ces éclaircissements. Merci.
Thank you, Cyprus. So I understand Algeria, you're the only one. Can we hear from Colombia, and then if the rest of the committee members are fine, we will appeal to Algeria to consider its position. Colombia, please.
No, we just support that we should delete the full 11th paragraph and then continue with the next point of the list, because the procedure and what you should do on how the country should inform the communities or not, it is going to be debated later, so we should continue with the agenda. I think the point is more than understood here, and Vietnam already gave the explanation we needed them to give. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I think Palestine also agrees to delete paragraph 11, we look Algeria.
Nous sommes pour le consensus, Madame la Présidente, s'il faut l'enlever, si tout le monde est d'accord pour l'enlever. Toutefois, nous souhaiterions que vous fassiez mention dans votre rapport que nous souhaiterions que plutôt que l'État soumissionnaire informe les communautés. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you for your flexibility. It will be duly reflected in the report. Palestine, do you still want to take the floor?
Very, very quickly, actually, it is only for our colleague from Algeria. The information has been given for communities, and not only information, also the consent of communities. It is written, and this was clarified by the state party. And we would like also to support the amendment by Austria. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we have a consensus towards deleting paragraph 11, and we thank Algeria for their flexibility. And now we proceed to the paragraph proposed by Austria, supported by some Côte d'Ivoire, Philippines, Algeria, Cyprus, Palestine. Thanks to the delegation of Vietnam for the clarifications provided to the Committee on the Community's Consent. I understand India and Cuba would like the floor or would like to sponsor the... okay, so let's add Republic of Korea, Ethiopia, Turkey, India, Cuba, St. Lucia. They all want to sponsor Mongolia, Afghanistan, Bulgaria, Lebanon, Senegal. Yes, please. Let Secretariat please add the names. Congo. Yeah. St. Lucia also, please. Ethiopia. Turkey as well. Okay, so I understand we were able to reach consensus with a new para 11 proposed by Austria and supported by many delegations. Can we now go and adopt the decision in its entirety if there is no objection to that? I see no objection. Okay, so the decision 12-11C adopted in its entirety. Congratulations, Vietnam. You now have the floor for 2 minutes. Thank you.
Dear Madam Chair and distinguished members of the Intergovernmental Committee, allow me on behalf of the National Commission of Vietnam for UNESCO to express our gratitude for the removal and inscriptions to the list of representatives of intangible cultural heritage of the humanity. May I introduce Mr. Hoàng Dân Mark, Chairman of the People Council of the Phu Đô Province, to deliver his remark.
Kính thưa bà Chủ tịch và các thành viên Ủy ban Công ước, kính thưa toàn thể quý vị đại biểu. 6 năm qua, cộng đồng 4 phường Xoan, chính quyền và nhân dân tỉnh Phú Thọ của Việt Nam đã hết sức nỗ lực để bảo vệ khẩn cấp hát xoan Phú Thọ. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn Ủy ban Liên Chính phủ và các quốc gia thành viên của Công ước đã ghi nhận sự cố gắng nỗ lực đó và đã đồng ý với đề nghị của cộng đồng chúng tôi về việc đưa hát xoan ra khỏi tình trạng bảo vệ khẩn cấp và ghi danh vào danh sách di sản văn hóa phi vật thể đại diện của nhân loại năm 2017. Vào thời khắc này, cộng đồng hát xoan tại Phú Thọ và các cộng đồng khác ở Việt Nam đang theo dõi và chắc chắn sẽ vô cùng phấn khởi vì việc ghi danh này chính là sự đánh giá khách quan các biện pháp bảo vệ và cộng đồng đã cùng nhau sáng tạo, thực hiện trong 6 năm qua, đáp ứng được mong muốn của họ. Nhân dịp này, chúng tôi xin cảm ơn Chính phủ Việt Nam, Ủy ban Quốc gia UNESCO Việt Nam, các cơ quan, các tổ chức, các chuyên gia Việt Nam và quốc tế đã hỗ trợ, tạo điều kiện và chia sẻ với chúng tôi những kinh nghiệm quý báu về bảo vệ và phát huy giá trị di sản trong đời sống đương đại hết sức giá trị. Chúng tôi cam kết sẽ nỗ lực bằng tất cả các biện pháp thích hợp, phát huy vai trò cộng đồng chủ thể di sản, tiếp tục tổ chức thực hiện các biện pháp bảo vệ di sản theo tinh thần Công ước 2003 của UNESCO, đảm bảo cho di sản hát xoan Phú Thọ được bảo vệ và phát huy giá trị một cách bền vững, đồng thời tiếp tục gắn bó chặt chẽ với di sản hát xoan Phú Thọ với tín ngưỡng thờ cúng Hùng Vương, di sản văn hóa phi vật thể đại diện nhân loại năm 2012 và tục thờ cúng tổ tiên của người Việt và với nhiều di sản khác ở Việt Nam. Trân trọng cảm ơn các quý vị đại biểu. Thank you very much. Rồi, đứng đây à.
Tiếng lang chiêng cha
Trung thanh mừng vua, kim phượng hoàng huê ơ,
tôi phấn khởi lắm, và đồng thời bản thân chúng tôi sẽ cùng các nghệ nhân cố gắng gìn giữ, bảo tồn và phát triển hát xoan Phú Thọ để mãi mãi cho muôn đời sau.
Congratulations once again.